fucking windy. It's windy out here, guys. It's so fucking windy and man, I don't know why my mind just goes to the worst thing possible, but whenever it gets like windy and I start feeling the elements of the elements, I start to think straight away to kind of like an apocalyptic greenhouse gases, global warming situation. And I think I did read somewhere that the wind and the low pressure and high pressure systems are changing due to increased temperature of the earth, where hot air moves to cool air areas and something along those lines. But yeah, it's fucking windy, guys. It is windy, and I live on the 24th floor, and anything I leave outside somehow ends up on the floor, which is kind of shit. People don't tell you, man. Like, you live high, sometimes it's not great. Anyway, let's get back to it. I guess I also kind of wanted to talk about today why I use social media and how I use social media and why I'm making videos, really, because I really thought about this and I'm like, should I do this again? Should I make podcasts? Why am I making podcasts? And it took me a while to think about it, and I've spent some time delving into why I personally want to do this. And I realized I use social media in a certain way. I'm not too sure if other people do this, but I really like to keep snapshots of who I was at a certain period of time. And I've tried keeping journals, but the thing is, I've taken photos as well. I don't really spend time looking back on those and reflecting on those. Like journals, I think it's because I'm writing it wrong. I never write about what I did for the day, because that's not what I want to remember. I want to remember who I was in terms of what I felt, how I perceived the world, what my perspective was at the time. And I want to see how much it's changed, because I kind of want to see growth, right? Everyone wants to see growth. And I want to do it in a way like I'm probably going to look at this in 5-10 years and cringe. And I know I've done that with a lot of stuff, but I want to know that I've grown in a certain way. And if I use this forum where I'm uploading podcasts, I feel that it's going to give me a really accurate description with low effort of, how I was at a certain point in time. I'm 27. I'm going to turn 28, and I want to have the ability to, remember what my 20s were about, what I was passionate about, who I was, what I wasn't passionate about, what I didn't know at the time. That'll be really interesting to me, because it's going to be like a time capsule, right? And people were obsessed with that at some point, I'm sure, digging a hole in the ground and burying a bunch of mementos you had in a certain point of time and remember, oh shit, yeah, I did really love, Justin Bieber then, or, wow, I was such a strange, I was so insecure at a certain point about, people not liking me, all that kind of stuff. So, that's one of the reasons I'm doing this. The second piece is, part of it is explaining what I've figured out, right? Part of it is understanding and really, really processing some of the things that I might pick up, that I've picked up subconsciously, some of the principles I've picked up that I'm subconsciously adhering to and have become more tangible to me. But by attempting to explain it, by attempting to teach, I'm learning. And this is where like I've been hanging out with some people who are really people who chase progress, and that's what I really appreciate nowadays. And a guy I've been hanging out recently told me, we're rolling, we're doing jiu-jitsu a lot, and I'm kind of saying to him, hey, I'm really grateful for you teaching me this kind of stuff. And he's like, actually, I'm grateful to you, because as I'm teaching, I'm learning. These are the principles that I'm applying subconsciously, but as I make them a more of a conscious decision, that makes me improve. That makes me better. I'm more purposeful when I have these. I can make my actions and time more purposeful, and I can attach intention to it. And I think that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to really apply my principles. And to apply my principles, I need to know what they are. I really need a solid foundation and understanding of what they are. And I've been reading principles by principles by Ray Dalio, and he's got a shit ton of principles for your personal and your the rest of your life. And I realized these principles, they're fucking important. I realize they're important now. And John, like, I was listening to, doing a bit more jiu-jitsu, being a bit more passionate about certain things. I've been watching John Danaher, who's a master in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, who's really a pioneer in some of the fields of creating some of these principles around using leverage to beat your opponent. He talks about how to transition from how to pass guard. And essentially he breaks it down into 7 broad steps. Not certain techniques, not certain ways to do things, but 7 broad steps. And each of those steps kind of outline what you need to do to progress. And I think about that now. When I'm doing jiu-jitsu, when I'm rolling with someone, when I'm about to pass their guard, I'm thinking, okay, what did John say? He said, lift up the ankles. He said, you want their feet pointing away from you, etc. And I realize that's what you can do with all your life. When you come across a certain situational, it's everything is situational. And there's certain outcomes you can get by applying and I realize that's the thing for everyone. Human responses are the same there are only a few categories that they can land in, right? And it comes around like this in sales as well. And when you do objection handling, when someone says, no, they don't need your product or service for a certain reason because, let's say, for example, hey, I can get you, I'm a mortgage broker, I can get you a better rate on your mortgage. And they say, actually, my mortgage rate is pretty low. And he was like, and then the objection handle to that can be a couple of different things, right? You can say that, actually, when was the last time you checked your mortgage interest rate? A few months ago. There's been a rate change. We could probably get you a lower rate. What's the harm in asking, right? And they're going to be like, oh, no, actually, I just don't want to change things. It's inconvenient. It's like, okay, well, I can do 90% of it. All you have to do is sign. Those are the type of things you can say because it's not because you're a gun thinking off the fly. It's because of experience, right? You know exactly what they're going to say. There are only 3-4 different types of responses, objections to someone positioning something or trying to sell to you. And knowing the answers to those is an experience thing. And that's what you realize in every field of life. There's very limited ways in which things can react, and you spending time understanding that is and actually making that a principle, applying principles to those, is what can make you successful. And that's why I think I'm doing this. I think I really want to understand, the things that I've learned in terms of principles. I want to be able to write them down, but I want to be able to revisit them at some point.